Welcome back. It has been been a hot sec since I made one of these, but let's just dive into it with the August developer update for Dead by Daylight. Now, this is going to be probably the biggest update to Dead by Daylight we have seen in a while, with a bunch of new features, so let's dive straight into it. First up, they're adding slugging reduction rate. They're adding anti-slug. Basically, if a survivor is left in the dying state for a total of 90 seconds, they gain the ability to pick themselves back up after fully recovering. I don't know how I feel about this, because the big thing here is for a total of. If that means that it's basically cumulative, so like if you go down for 10 seconds 9 times, or like let's say, for example, you get left on the ground for like 20 seconds because the killer is warding off a flashlight save, but someone comes over and picks you up, and then you heal and whatnot. But if you go down for a cumulative, for a total of 90 seconds, you basically get base kit unbreakable. I could see this going in either direction. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. Next up, added the option to enable or disable this in custom games. Yeah. Perks that allow you to recover from the dying state, like Boon, I'm assuming No Mither, Unbreakable, etc., will function as before. Gradually increase crawling speed for survivor who are left in the dying state. So basically, they're giving you tenacity. And honestly, this bit here, this is the main thing that I saw that I was terrified of. Added the ability for survivors to recover while crawling. Recovery now occurs passively with no need to hold a button. That's terrifying. That basically means that you will, over time, you'll just gain recovery progress. And I'm assuming that is, as we see in the GIFs, it's going to be like this bit down here, and that's going to be the recovery. Or it might, actually, no, it might be, that might be your overall recovery timer. I don't know. Overall, this needed to be added. I think they made it a tad powerful. And then they also updated several killer perks to account and survivor perks. Okay. Honestly, not bad. Oh boy. Next up, tunneling reduction anti-tunnel. When a survivor is hooked, their hook status is hidden from the killer. Okay, that's fine. So this just means you won't get the little icon that says they're on a hook. When they're unhooked, there is no notification, and their hook status isn't immediately revealed. So basically, what I'm reading from this is that you won't get the loud noise notification of someone getting unhooked. You won't get the icon that they have been unhooked. And yeah, I understand why they're doing this, because they want, according to the dev note, they want survivors to be able to actually run away from the killer. But I think, I don't know. There's a lot of information that you can get from this, and like it tells you that, hey, I know where 3 of the survivors are. That person has deli. If they unhook themselves, but you only know where 2 of the survivors are, you can guess, hey, I now know where all 3 survivors are. Well, all 4 survivors are, etc., etc. And it's disabled once all generators are completed. Honestly, at that point, the game's basically over, but neither here nor there. Unhooked survivors gain the following effects. Haste, hindered, elusive. Basically, they're going to add silence, grunts of pain, suppress aura, pools of blood, and scratch marks. And so basically they're adding to base kit borrowed time. Honestly, that's fine. No collision with other players. Thank fuck. Okay, so am I? Yeah, I can I can swear in the I can swear in this video now. No collision with other players, both survivor and killer. This is going to be insanely important. Because this basically says, no, you don't get to use second chance perks and base kit borrowed time offensively. And especially on indoor maps or maps with very set choke points, or like pulling people out of something like basement, this is going to make second chance perks a lot more... It's going to make them a lot less offensive, and it's going to actually make it so that... It's actually going to make it so that you kind of have to, like, use second chance perks for what they're designed for, which is if the killer tries to tunnel you. You can't just say, no, you have to tunnel me. So there is that. Immunity to Killer Instinct and Seize the Killer's Aura nearby. Honestly, not really necessary, but that is what it is. These effects are lost when affected player performs a conspicuous action. So essentially, like most anti-tunnel, the moment you start progressing the game, you lose the anti-tunnel. Add a unique effect to Killer Hook State UI that indicates the last survivor they hooked. I'm assuming this is going to be like a hook next to the survivor portrait. It's just like, hey, you hooked this person last. And it's going to be like, okay. Honestly, just show us hook states. Literally just show us the hook states of the various survivors. After completing a unique hook, basically the same survivor not hooked consecutively, killers will gain the following benefits. Bonus damage to generator, so we get base kit pop, we get temporary haste, temporary reveal, so base kit barbecue and chili, that on survivors that have less than or equal to hook states of the hook survivor. So if I put someone on second hook, everyone with one or no hooks is going to be revealed to me. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, I'm okay with this. The haste bonus is good. Bonus damage to next generator kick. I hope that's not on a timer. These effects are slightly lessened for Blight, Dark Lord, Ghoul, Hillbilly, and Nurse. So the 5 strongest killers in terms of, like, just overall, in terms of just, like, map mobility and the general consensus of these killers are the strongest, have less of a bonus to hooking survivors. Like, honestly, okay. Genuinely, very, very good, very important. I think it's gonna bug the fuck out of the vast majority of killers, and I think the implementation of this is going to be problematic, but I like the sentiment. A+ for effort. These effects are disabled once all generators are completed. So basically, when you need this the most, you don't get it. But whatever. I understand. They need to make endgame as streamlined as possible. Add new effects that disincentivize tunneling. If a survivor dies before 6 total hook states, all remaining survivors gain repair speed bonus for the rest of the trial. Oh boy. Okay. This is not going to go well. The fact that because right now, one of the best ways to basically play the game is to basically bounce between 2 survivors. Pick 2 survivors and say, hey, I'm hooking this guy, moving off to a new survivor, hooking them. If the first survivor gets unhooked, you start going after them once you have downed and hooked the survivor you're chasing. So this basically says you need to hook at least 3 survivors in order to not get this. Genuinely, I think this should be reduced down to 5, maybe 4. You need at least 4 hook states. This means you cannot just tunnel out one survivor. And if you do, you still get this. But it actually means you have to get at least 2 hooks on another survivor. Or at least 1 hook on another survivor. Actually, we'll say 5. Honestly, we'll say 5 because that way you get your 3rd hook. That way, if you do, like I mentioned, the bouncing between different survivors, you get 2 people to death hook. You have 2 people on death hook. And then you kill someone, that should not be punished. If a survivor was the last hooked or sacrificed... So basically, if you tunnel someone, generators cannot be regressed or blocked. How long is this going to last? I mean, I'm going to be honest. I play Knight mostly. I don't really do a lot of gen kicking. But if it's like, for example, if I tunnel out, if someone tunnels out someone, or they just happen to find the next survivor, like let's say I do, like I said, I'm focusing mainly two survivors. I hook one person, I hook the other, I hook one person, I hook the first, I hook the next. They're both on death hook. I happen to find survivor number 2. Am I now punished because, and like, now do I just not get to regress generators or block generators because I just so happen to find the wrong person? And I basically have to ignore the person that I hooked last permanently? I think that, honestly, if that's the case, genuinely, this is a bad change. This should not, overall, I don't think this should be a thing, but yeah. Added the ability to, okay, so updated survivor, yeah. Yeah, and then just change things. Overall, this needed to happen. I think they super overcomplicated it. Literally just have it be like, survivors, when they get unhooked, don't have collision, and I don't know, maybe increase borrowed time a little bit, but they didn't need to do all of this. They did not need to do all of this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is going to be... If the main thing is if these are permanent, and if... Well, okay, not if this one's... This one is obviously permanent, but if this is like 50% repair bonus, and then this is permanent, you're basically saying, if you tunnel, you throw the game. Which... I don't know. I would need to see the PTB in order to, like, actually understand. I think this should be slightly lower. I think this should go down to 5, not 6. Because this basically says you need at least 3 people on death hook. You need at least 3 people on death hook. Or you need 2 people on death hook and then 2 people to have been hooked once. Which... I genuinely think that this needs to be down to 5. This should be down at 5. But other than that, I think overall this is a good change. I think it's way too complicated. They did not need to do all of this. But I understand. Elusive status effect. Basically just adding a new status effect. That's fine. Tomes lore. Updated tomes menu to now feature new tomes and accompanying lore. Each side, each chapter released. New lore unlocked each week within active tome. Okay. They're giving us more lore. Good to know. Shape. Major update. They're reworking Shape. They're reworking Myers. They're basically... they're turning him into the old Doctor 2.0. Into old Doctor, but 2.0. So, Stalker mode is tier 1. Pursuer mode is like a buffed tier 2 that's kind of that. We're gonna ignore this for right now while we look at these. Once stock meter is full, you get access to mode number 3. Okay, this is gonna go so poorly. You're going to get tier 3, which won't expose survivors, but it will give you a dash, because dash slop. It'll give you the ability to grab and kill survivors or Mori survivors the next time they are unhooked. Okay. And then they added quality of life to stalking. Okay. So, and then they reworked his add-ons. Genuinely terrified of this. I'm gonna make the joke. They're nerfing Pig by making Myers a better pig. I'm just gonna fucking say it. That's crazy. That is honestly crazy. Clown. Increase activation time of Afterpiece Tonic. Increase how long the tonic hinder effects after leaving the smoke. Okay, so they're giving him some nerfs. Needed. I don't play Clown, but this was needed. Unknown. Not a fan of Unknown. Okay, so they're increasing... okay. Increase additional time added to the weakened when injuring with UVX. So basically, when you injure someone who's already weakened, they get a longer bit before that they have to look at you to remove the weakened state. Increase movement and increase movement speed recovery after teleporting. So basically, when you teleport, there's a short time where you need to basically get up to speed. They're shortening that recovery time, is what it sounds like. Which, okay, that's I guess a good quality of life. Increase camera vertical range. This will allow for more trick shots and adjust several add-ons. Overall, good changes. I don't play unknown. Good designed killer. I think he's a bit RNG dependent, but other than that, I think that overall he needed a bit of a quality of life update. That's fine. Honestly fine. Dark Lord. Vamp. So more dash slop. Decrease pounce. We're gonna start with wolf form. Decrease pounce attack. Increase pounce attack charge time. Increase scent orb spawn time. Nerf to wolf form. Go to bat form. Quality of life. Honestly, just increase move friction. Make it so basically now when you're moving side to side or when you're moving forward and back, that slide that you get is gonna be less. Honestly, that's fine. Adjusted his movement add-ons. I'm glad to that. I'm necessary. Vampire form. Slightly reduce Hellfire cooldown. So this is probably going to be like they're going to reduce it by like 1 or 2 seconds. Honestly, fine. Increase range. They're going to increase total Hellfire pillars, so they're increasing the range. That's fine. Reduce Hellfire charge movement speed. So this is going to basically be when you're charging it, you're going to move slightly slower. Honestly, with the amount of people who can M2, with the amount of killers that can M2 fake, necessary, and then slightly increase slowdown time after casting Hellfire. So basically, after you send out the Hellfire, your recovery time is going to be slightly longer now. That's fine. Honestly, I'm fine with that. I'm a Night main. He needed a little bit of a nerf. I'm glad. They're basically taking away the ability to pump fake at pallets and shitty stuff and shitty loops, so that's going to be great. That's going to be good. Overall, good changes, I think. Again, I'll have to defer to Dracula mains. The Ghoul. When grabbing a survivor on the other side of a vault, survivor is released at the start of the vault rather than at the end. So basically, this refers to the kidnap tech, where basically the ghoul, if you like threw a pallet and the ghoul was vaulting over it, you would be released from the ghoul's grasp, and that would end after the ghoul vaulted, which basically meant that you would be stuck right next to the ghoul. They would do their cooldown, which is non-existent, and then they would just hit you. They're removing that, which they needed to. The fact that they actually... It's one of those things where they're removing a bug-turned feature because people kept complaining about it. Honestly, we're fine. Honestly, needed. Something that they should have done already. The Oni! Hooking survivors now spawns more blood orbs. So right now, Oni, when you hook a survivor, they put out a bunch of blood orbs. They're making this more, and because right now, picking the main reason they're doing this, picking up a survivor cancels your rage. So in order to get more value from your rage, they are making it so that you can get back into rage faster after canceling it due to picking someone up. Honestly, good change. I still think the snowball potential you're still going to get Onis that slug while they're in rage to try and get that value, but I think overall this is a good change that needed to happen. Again, honestly, 8 and then perk updates. Where basically they're changing a bunch of tunneling and slugging perks and whatnot. and we're going to get the actual PTB live balance changes next week on Tuesday. So overall, very, very good changes. Necessary changes. Things that needed to happen, and I'm very glad they did. I am scared for a couple things, mainly the... honestly, you could drop this down to, like, I don't know, maybe 6? Maybe 60? Maybe 60 or 70, but have it be, like, whilst you're on the ground, because it looks like this is cumulative. It is. It's cumulative. So that's going to be... I'm honestly a little I'm a little terrified of that. This entire bit is going to be absolutely terrifying, so I hope that they actually listen to survivor and killer feedback, specifically killer feedback on this. And this is not just... Honestly, this bit right here, I'm really happy for, but the rest of this is just kind of terrifying. I've already said what I would like to see changed on this. Make this temporary, reduce this to 4 or 5. Elusive status effect, I'm glad they're adding, they did this in other games like Magic the Gathering, where if they have an effect, just add a keyword for it. Elusive is going to be great. We've needed a status effect for this, and I think it's just going to streamline. Lore is lore. Shape rework. They nerfed Pig by giving us a better Pig. Clown needed the nerf. Unknown needed the quality of life and buff. Dark Lord needed the changes. Well, didn't super need the change. He is still the probably... I would say definitely top 10. Definitely one of the stronger killers in the game. I wouldn't say top 5. I don't think top 5, but definitely one of the stronger killers in the game. Ghoul, this should never have been a thing in the first place. Oni, they made the changes that they're making changes to help address slugging, which we love to see. And then they're doing perk updates. Overall, I actually think this is going to be a really good update. If they address the bugs. If they don't address the bugs, we are fucked. But other than that, it is what it is. So, with all of that, thank you to everyone who watched through to the end. It really does mean a lot. If you want to check out more of my stuff, I go live on Twitch at the same handle, Drielvar_RTQ5. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Goodbye.